I'll do an impression of Lewis again.
Again, yeah.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Triforce podcast. My name is Lewis Brindley, and I am joined by Sips. Sips, how are you?
Good.
Oh shit, was I...
No, you can be me. And Pyrian Flax. Pyrian, what have you been up to this week, you bald, egg-headed idiot?
Not much. Just the usual.
I couldn't do it. I had a very boring response planned.
Don't worry, I got your back. I got your back.
You saved me.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like the perfect intro. Can we that's like, honestly, I couldn't have done that better.
Put that in a jar and mass manufacture it. We have hundreds of
guys.
more episodes. Just reuse that one over and over and over again. It's fine.
Yeah, people need those things in these troubling times.
They need
It's weeks.
Yeah, they need that.
What are we, week 6 now into
Yeah, I think it's week 6.
lockdown? I don't know. Like I'm starting
Week
to think.
6. Fuck me.
No one saw this coming, did they? Right? I watched Contagion. Right? You know,
Not very good.
It's not a very good movie.
No, it's trending on Amazon and Netflix and everything though, because I guess
It's kind of got parallels because it's like about a global pandemic.
yeah.
And some things that are in the movie kind of are like, oh, that's right. But then there's bits of the movie where there's like hundreds and hundreds of people just still because social distancing, people didn't even think that was going to be a thing. Like there's this bit where the virus is in like full flow and it cuts to all these shots of people in boardrooms discussing it. And there's like hundreds of people next to each other and like massive crowds of people looking up. Like in like Times Square, looking up at billboards and stuff and looking at TVs and like it's just like 10 shots of people doing the opposite of social distancing, which is it's like social gathering for being told what to do. It's like
I guess it would be a very boring film if everybody just stayed at home, because somebody said there are going to be loads of films about the coronavirus that come out of this, and I'm thinking they'd be incredibly dull because the main character goes home and stays home for 6 weeks minimum, and then it's just all news, I guess. They're just watching the news and going, when are they?
No, I think it's
Once a day we're that out now.
it's easy to
It's not very dramatic.
I don't know. I think people do like filmmakers do like to tap into situations that we're all familiar with, right?
But they need a plague. You need a good plague, not this one, which is tragic, but it's not exciting.
What kind of,
you know what I mean?
What kind of plague do we
need? You need people
what kind of plague are we talking about
Did you
here?
watch the film Outbreak?
Right. That's the one with the infected apes or the monkeys.
Yes, it's a monkey. It's got Dustin Hoffman in. It's actually got a big old cast. It's got
Dustin Hoffman
Morgan
plays
Freeman,
the monkey.
Donald Sutherland. It's got Rene Russo. It's got Kevin Spacey. It's got Cuba Gooding Jr. The list
this is
goes
definitely
on.
a 90s movie, right?
1995.
Very 90s.
Yeah, of course it is.
Perfectly in the 90s, Sips. Yeah.
Yeah.
The script isn't very good, but Dustin Hoffman knows how to deal with a bad script. What you do is you say all the lines very quickly and with passion, and that's how you do it. And it's like, so someone will say, Sam, it's like Morgan Freeman will say, Sam, I don't know what you think about it. You can't go into that town. I've already been there, goddammit. I've been in that town. You can't tell me what to do. We've been friends for a long time. And if you try to stop me, by God, I'm going to do it anyway. And it's like, that's not great. But the fact is that Dustin Hoffman's delivery, he just speeds it up and he goes, and you just get an idea of what he's feeling without actually paying attention to what he's saying. I thought very clever, very clever. Any aspiring actors out there, if you've got duff lines, just say them fast. That's the Hoffman rule.
Right.
Get them out the way.
Because a lot of the time acting is about being willing to pause and like give, like, you know, because everyone feels like they have to fill every dead air. Like there's people on stage who are always very scared to leave space.
I think that's because it makes it look like you've forgotten your lines.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I think. When an actor has a long pause in a play, I've been to a few plays, and when there's a big pause, you think, oh God, they've forgotten their lines. But then they come back, and you're like, oh, okay, he hasn't forgotten his lines. He's just pausing. But it's a little jarring.
I don't think everyone thinks that about movies, though, or TV
No,
shows.
movies, no, because they would say, cut, cut, cut. And he'd say, what? I was pausing for dramatic effect. And go, no, Dustin, just say it fast, get the lines done. We're going to it's a outbreak. We're going to play this month.
There's some frogs coming down. We're going to sort them out. We're all going to eat them.
But the drama in that was the virus mutates into a horrible new form, and There's the military trying to blow the town up, and Dustin Hoffman has to stop them. They're trying to find this damn monkey, and both Kevin Spacey and Rene Russo catch the illness because they've got terrible sharps discipline. Like Kevin Spacey just walks too far, his cord catches on something and it rips his suit, and he catches the virus and doesn't tell anyone, which I think that's pretty terrible. And then Rene Russo is doing something with a needle and stabs herself in the hand. I was like, these guys are clowns. So that's the drama, is that they're just not very good. And also people are bleeding out of the eyes and the mouths and going like, "Argh!" So there's drama there. Rather than the coronavirus, which is not as dramatic, but because it's real life, it's scarier.
What did I play the other day? Oh yeah, me and Lydia played a game the other day, which we play all these FMV games. So we played one called
I know you do.
The Complex, which just came out. But it happens to be about like a kind of a virus. Well, not a virus, it's more like a disease. And this guy infects himself by not only fucking up taking out an IV out of someone's arm so he gets blood all over himself, but then when he gets stabbed in the leg, he puts his bloody hand, oh my leg, he rubs his bloody hand all over his injury, and it's like, you fucking idiot.
I want a close-up action shot of the germs going off his, like a CGI cut to extreme zoom of the germs going, oh, and like scuttling into his body, and the blood cells go, no, and the white blood cells, we can't hold them back, and then cut back to real life. That would be more dramatic. They need to dramatize what's happening inside the body.
Are you saying
while we're just sat
we
at
need
home?
like a kind of bacterial tower defense?
I think we need a bacterial Inside Out. Have you seen that movie?
Yes.
So
Inside
you need
Out.
that, but with germs.
What, the
I think would be
Pixar
good.
movie Inside Out?
Yeah,
That one.
I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
Oh, it was a good
But
one, yeah.
it was a very good one.
Yeah.
But
Yes,
they need that.
it's
but
not
with germs.
always remembered as a good one. I thought it was
Why not?
fine.
No?
I don't know, but it doesn't. People don't seem to give it the accolades like that.
I think it should get. It's a very touching movie. I cried several times during it, and I thought it handled the subject very well. And of course, it has one of the biggest tearjerker moments. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it.
With Bing Bong.
With Bing Bong.
Yeah, that's the one.
Which is a real
That's the
tearjerker,
one that
but
gets me every time.
Yeah,
It's his
a
stupid
great,
fucking little face, you know, when
I
he's just
know.
like, go without me.
I was
Oh,
going
it's
to
the
not
best in the
spoil
world,
it.
Bing Bong, Bing Bong, and they do it, and you're like, ah, it just like destroys your
Spoiled.
heart.
That's
Just
about
spoiled.
that's about growing up, isn't it? That's what it's all about.
I mean, that
Which is a
movie's been
shame.
out for like 5 years or something, so
yeah, I think
True,
we're
it's been
all right.
out for a while.
I think we're outside of spoiling territory. Right?
That's fair.
Spoiling a children's movie from 5 years ago. I think it'll be all right. At least
Children's
we're not
movie.
talking about 1990 children's movies as we normally seem to do. Have you watched any shit daytime movies this week, B-Flex? Like,
Let me think.
We've already
No,
talked about
because
one.
we found a new thing. First of all, Grayson Perry's Art Club. We watched that last night.
what
that
the
was very
fuck
good.
are you talking about?
Right.
What do you mean? What the fuck am I talking about? it's a
Grayson
TV show, you
Perry's-
idiot.
Yeah,
Grayson
you fucking
Perry.
idiot. You fucking stupid idiot.
Yeah. Do you know who Grayson Perry
Yes.
is?
Yeah,
He's
I bet
that-
you don't even.
Tall.
Wait, that's one person?
He's that tall. What? What are you going to
Fuck, I
describe
thought you were
him
talking
as?
about two people, Grace
No.
and Perry. No?
No, Grayson Perry.
Right, sorry.
I guess a cross-dresser, right? That's what you call.
He
That's an
is he
acceptable
does drag
term.
occasionally, but he's
Yeah.
a potter. That's his main art
He's a
form is
potter?
pottery. Yeah, he's famous for his pots, and he's incredible. Like honestly, you may joke, but he's a genuinely amazing artist, and he's doing this show where he's reaching out to people at home and saying, with the spare time you've got, get back into making art and do some paintings. For someone who did paintings not that long ago, Lulu,
I still
I'm a
do.
little surprised that you're so.
What have you been working on recently?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. I just. It's like a cathartic thing, just to make some mess. It's like a child.
Yeah.
I don't feel much more like than an animal stomping my feet into just.
Well, good,
paint.
but you enjoyed making it. You enjoyed it.
It's
Good.
it's different. It's
That's
fun.
the message.
Yeah, it's cool. So sorry. He has a show now where he is doing what?
It's like a show made under lockdown, and he's encouraging people to make art and then send him pictures of it, and he sort of decides. It's not like a contest, like, I'm sorry, you're going home this week, Sam. Bum. It's not like that. It's more like he just talks about art, he makes some art, he looks at art, and it sort of chats to other artists on sort of Zoom or whatever, and talks about what they're working on and all that kind of stuff. It's good. It's really good. Very relaxing show. I recommend it. And then we've been watching Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares USA, which has very, very quickly become one of the household's favorite shows. My kids love it.
It's a classic, isn't it?
It's so
always
good.
Somehow, like every episode I've seen of that across, I guess what must be multiple seasons, because they just show reruns of it on TV or whatever.
Yes.
It's always some ma and pa restaurant in New Jersey, okay, that sells that does like Italian food or pasta and whatever, and it always looks great. And there's always like these old people that work there, like their uncles or like just these weird old guys that look like they're like Vietnam War vets or something, and act like they're Vietnam War vets as well. Like they're all distant and like just like, there's a cigarette hanging out of their mouth while they're preparing the calzone and stuff. And and it just seems to be the same thing every time, but it's really good at the same time. I don't understand like how
it's you could play a real bingo with it, like things that you're looking out for. Number one, like you said, very old mom and pop stuff. That's a bingo. Italian food made wrong. That's a bingo.
Yeah.
Reheating frozen stuff. Like the restaurant.
There's always some old ass chicken in the fridge. He always what the fuck is
bingo.
this? It's like,
what is this?
It's chicken. This
Smell
fucking
that.
sick. It's
Smell
disgusting.
That.
It stinks. Like, all the time.
And you've got it next to cooked meat. Shut it down. If Ramsey shuts the restaurant down dramatically in mid dining session, that's a bingo, because that's another one. If he says, get it together, that's another one, because he says that all the time.
Yeah.
You stopped caring. That's another thing he says all the time. If they say, I think my food is good, despite the fact it's definitively terrible, like he orders like 8 things at the start of the show, tries it, because God, look at that. If their sauces are watery, if he encourages the serving staff to put their fingers into the food to feel how cold it is, that's a bingo. There are lots of things that happen every time. If Gordon runs his hand along a surface to show us how disgustingly grimy it is, that's another classic. I love it. There's all these little things that you can look out for. A consistent thing is people losing faith in their staff to deliver the food on time and panicking. Obviously, once you start losing customers, you can't afford to buy in fresh stuff every day. That's their first response is, we'll buy frozen stuff in and then we'll defrost it as we need it.
Yeah.
And we'll have to do that in a microwave. So therefore, we'll start cooking in microwaves. Like, it's a panic thing. And they stopped caring about the quality of the food. It's tragic. And this is like, this restaurant's been here for 30 years. My mum has asked me to run it, and I don't know what I'm doing. But they had a 2-parter the other night from a restaurant called Manja Manja, and they only microwaved stuff. That's it. It was all microwaved. Their head chef was not a chef. He didn't even know how to make pasta. Gordon Ramsay says to him, tell the chef right now, I want pasta. Here's the ingredients. He gives the list of ingredients to the waitress and sends her back there, and he can't make it. He makes this awful, stodgy thing. It's incredible. And then it turns out he's on drugs, and they have to fire him. And it's magic.
It's. I mean, do you reckon a lot of these people are just? Sorry,
it's just like having a Schwarzenegger
I just ate
aneurysm
something from one of the
The whole
kitchens.
thing.
Does this make you not? Do you think all restaurants are kind of a little bit bumbling though? Like, do you reckon every restaurant is a little bit?
It kind of depends where the
half-assed.
restaurant is as well. In the States, you have like, if you're in London or whatever, there's like certain parts of the city where there's really great restaurants, or they'll be like they'll just be like a really popular restaurant by like a really like acclaimed chef that's in the middle of like somewhere exciting or whatever.
Yeah.
But like all these places on Ramsey's Kitchen Nightmares USA or whatever, like these mom and pop places are just like out in the sticks. Like they're off like, you have to like take like the exit off the highway and it's just there. And like nothing else is around it and stuff.
They're like a small town in Colorado.
Yeah.
We're the only Italian restaurant for 50 miles.
Yeah,
It's,
it's just and I think that has a lot to do with everything. You know what I mean? Like I think they just there's nobody really around them to give them any like real like competition or anything.
Yeah,
and
that's definitely part of it.
They just become super complacent, and I don't think they really get it in the first place. And
that's exactly it. I honestly think that a lot of these people that think, I like food, I'll open a restaurant, don't actually know how to cook or what good food is.
Exactly. Yeah.
And their menu stays the same for a very long time. and it's terrible from the start. And they're like, it's what our customers like. It's like, yeah, but you have no customers. So you're appealing to a very small group of people who have no taste buds, and you're not appealing to other people who can taste food and think this sucks and never come back.
Do you think
It's
that they
bizarre.
decimated the taste buds in the first place? Like these people were normal people at one point. They were like, "Oh, let's try that place," and then they went in there, and then it's just like now it's
Their
just like
mouth
some sort of
died.
sick, twisted addiction. Like we can't stop coming here. It's just the food just
is
doesn't taste the
nothing
same
else.
anymore. It's just
I
I
guess
need that.
Yeah, like I guess there are
Frozen
there's a lot of
meatball.
very professional. I mean, I worked in a kitchen in a hotel for a while, and there were like two chefs, and they were both weird people. One of them was a very tall, thin, kind of gaunt-looking man, like Lurch kind of thing, and the other one was a very overweight woman. And they were both very nice, actually, but they kind of, because they worked funny hours. You know, it's always the evening. You come in the afternoon, you prepare for the evening, don't you? And then kind of end up going home quite late, you know, when the kitchen closes. It's a funny time,
It is a weird time.
work hours. Plus, like, I think, I guess, like it's not so much. It's such a massive thing. Like you said to me, make pasta. Like, do you just mean boiled dried pasta?
No, he means make pasta.
no. You have to
Like,
you have to make it from scratch, and
Yeah.
then you
That
have
sounds
to season
incredibly
it and
daunting.
sauce it up.
That
and
sounds
It's
stuff.
not
like-
difficult. I've done it. It's really not hard.
No, it's not
Like
that.
they should be able to make fresh pasta
Yeah,
every day. It doesn't take long.
if all you're doing all day is cooking stuff, you'll be able to do that no problem. I would have thought.
Like that would be part of your prep, because once you've made it,
Yeah.
you get your pasta cutter, you cut the flour into pasta, and then you just hang it to dry.
Yeah.
It's fresh pasta, or you can put it in the fridge
and then
at that point.
and then it's just ready to go. Like Flax said, there's a lot of prep. Like if say the restaurant opens at 5, they're in there at like noon preparing stuff and keeping it warm and ready to go so that they can plate up dishes, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
it's
but
all
what you
part of it.
don't do is just buy in fucking frozen meatballs and defrost them
Yeah.
in a microwave, which is what they were doing. Because he was like, why don't you make your meatballs fresh? And the chef, Trevor, says, well, last time I made them, they kind of fell apart, so I just stopped making them. I was like, that's a terrible attitude for a head chef. Just go, that's too difficult. You know what I mean? He needs to figure out how to make fucking meatballs. You're an Italian restaurant. You don't buy in frozen meatballs. And the owner was like, I thought that was how it was done. And this is what Sips was saying about they just never had it in the first place. They don't know what they're doing. And they thought, we'll open a restaurant. I think a lot of people think that, we'll open a restaurant. I like
I think
food.
that takes balls, actually. You know, like a lot of
It
people.
does take balls.
A lot of people will start up a business or whatever, and most of the time it'll fail. And a lot of people just will never even bother to start up a business. But these people have gone beyond all that and said, "This is probably going to fail, and I don't think I'm going to be any good at this. But fuck it, let's go for it anyway." And you gotta take your hat off to those people. That's nuts.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Like those people who decide they're going to climb Everest and have no idea what they're doing. You know, you got to take your hat off to them.
Yeah.
Fair play.
There is this. I saw a news article that was like that the coronavirus pandemic is revealing people's poor cooking skills, and that everyone relies on sort of fast food and you know pre-cooked meals and it's a thing that's happened. Like I almost like I think if I was thinking about if I wanted to like learn to cook something, right?
Yeah.
I would be scared. I think mostly to throw shit away. Like I guess like imagine if I'm like cooking something and I don't like it or think it's terrible. I feel like there's I don't want to waste good food by destroying it. I guess that's what you have to do. You have to learn somehow, right?
Yeah.
You're going to make mistakes, yeah. I mean, I think that the whole point of cooking is that you need to do it consistently.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to cook every single day if you have a busy lifestyle or whatever, but you've certainly got to, when it comes to cooking, you have to just practice. Like it took me a long time to know how certain things cooked, how much time, know when they were cooked just from looking at them, knowing how to taste things and adjust it. What does this need? It's just practice, like anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know why
Adding
people are so
salt to
intimidated.
stuff, you have to like add a pinch of salt and then taste it and then add, and before you know it, you've eaten the whole thing. You're like, oh, just a little taste.
I mean, my
Oh,
idea.
just a little. You're just eating the whole thing.
I guess like my cooking is I have a frying pan, and sometimes I boil some water, but I don't boil. I don't like to boil stuff anymore. I haven't boiled anything for years. Is that something that people still do? I thought we had to steam stuff now. I heard that it was actually just better to heat up vegetables in the microwave as well because it just keeps the
That's
keeps
disgusting.
the nutrients. It makes
No,
them a bit.
well, apparently steaming, and you can't overboil vegetables either, right?
You fucking can. Sips, of course you can. I've
do you
been
mean
over
you
steam
can't
shit.
overboil?
No. What I mean is you shouldn't overboil them.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I thought you meant it was impossible to.
No.
That's the major problem of my cooking is over boiling and over frying and over fucking over doing everything. So I'm
Over
kind of a
fucking,
lazy.
yeah.
Steaming is very good, but it does leave it crunchy. And I don't mind that, but Mrs. F and the kids
Well,
hate crunchy vegetables.
The thing is
which
that
a
you
shame.
can season them after, right? So like if a vegetable that comes out of the steamer and it's really crunchy, you can then just like put it in like a frying pan with like some butter and stuff for like just even just a hot minute.
What don't they
And
like
it'll-
about the crunch? Is it the effort of actually crunching it
No,
up?
it's
Is
the
that what it-
texture.
Right.
So my eldest will not eat fruit or vegetables unless you bribe her.
I'm the
and
same.
she's 11. Like
Yeah.
she should. Yes, it's the same. She just won't do it. Like cauliflower cheese, for example, one of my favorites, barely counts as a vegetable dish because it's covered in cheese.
Yeah.
Cauliflower
And
cheese
she's like-
is I mean that is not really.
Have
Right.
you introduced your daughter to the wonders of ketchup? Because man, it's
even
game
with the
changer.
sauce,
Yeah.
she's like, I don't like the texture. And the funny thing is Mrs. F is like, why doesn't she eat her vegetables? Mrs. F is just as fucking bad when it comes to saying, oh, I don't like the texture. So I was like, I wonder where she got it from.
She's probably listening to this one too, right?
She's way behind on the Triforce.
Homeworking
She's
and-
stopped.
That's good.
She's stopped.
We can say whatever we want about her. I think you have to find something that they do like and make sure to have that on available. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the problem is that they like Maltesers. So and like you can't just have that on tap and available.
That's not a vegetable. Could you
No,
imagine if
of course it's not.
Maltesers was a vegetable? Oh,
It'd be amazing.
Do your kids do that thing?
You're not allowed to have your ice cream
where
until you've eaten your Maltesers.
they've got a plate in front of them and it's got like mashed potatoes and maybe like some broccoli, but then maybe it had like like mozzarella bites or something like that, right?
Right.
So they've eaten all the mozzarella bites because those are good, and then they leave like the mashed potato and the broccoli, but everybody else has just started eating, and then they do this thing where they're just like talking all the time and like delaying and time wasting up to the point where they can say, yeah, I'm a bit full. I don't think I can finish my dinner sort of thing. But
Right.
it's coming. So you're constantly like, come on, you need to eat, eat. And then you spend the whole time just saying like, come on, eat. And then they're like, no, they're just not having it. They just won't do it sort of thing. And then after they're done, they're full. They're like, can I have some ice cream now? What? I thought you were full. And then you give them a bowl of ice cream. Because they asked for it, and that's fucking like there's like sparks flying off the inside of the bowl. It's devoured in like a second.
Well, when I was a kid, I used to tell people that I have a second stomach for dessert.
There's always room for
I would
ice
say
cream.
it very
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah, well, that's a very common.
Yeah, and my kids do the same thing. They're like, well, we've still got our dessert stomach, so we're good.
Well, it's an interesting thing though, isn't it? Because like I can eat a big meal and be really full, but like sometimes I'll still want like just like one after 8 or something, just like just something sweet just to take the edge off. Like not even like a big piece of
Just a little
like,
bump.
cake or anything, just something small,
Just a
like a
little
little
bump.
bonbon or something. Like, fucking like a one Rolo, just whatever, like just something
Can you
small.
imagine if you were in Gordon Ramsay's fucking kitchen nightmares at Sips' house, right? And Sips
That'd be my
serves,
dessert.
like,
It'd be like
One Rolo.
on a really big plate, one Rolo in the middle with like some Nesquik fucking sauce, like zigzagged around it or whatever.
That little swoop of sauce,
And
that
then
they
just
do.
like a bit of like frosting sugar, like
And a
blown
Malteser,
onto the top.
halved.
Yeah,
a halved Malteser.
yeah,
either side.
and that's
Yeah.
it. What the fuck is this? Dessert, bitch.
I think that is it.
Man, I'd be
It's
great on that
fresh.
show.
It's fresh. Yeah.
I
That'd
don't
be
think
great
you
on
have
that
to
show.
conform to like what other people's ideas of food and meals are as well. You need to find your own way through it. I think obviously that's a bad
Ignore
thing
that.
if you're
Please
eating.
use recipes. They know what they're doing. Just
Oh,
follow a recipe.
They're there for
Don't
a
make
reason.
shit
Yeah,
up.
they're there for a reason.
Some recipes are
Once
shit, though.
once you've cracked it and you can do yes, of course they are, but you got to figure out which ones are good and which ones are bad. Luckily online now there's a rating system, very good. Or someone will say ignore the part about the butter, we use cream instead, much better, and it'll be like, okay, that actually makes sense. Some other recipes are a bit shit. We
to do
made
with
one the other
taste,
day.
yeah.
It was meant to be pasta Alfredo in the pressure cooker. My fucking God, it was a disaster. It was a disaster. It was one of the worst meals we've ever cooked. Mrs. F made it, and she was like, don't look at it. Just eat it. And I was like, oh no.
Close your eyes and think of
bad.
England.
Jesus Christ.
It was bad, bless her. She was
shit.
disappointed.
Well, poor family.
But my kids are getting interested in cooking.
It might have
my
been
eldest
like an
especially.
American recipe though, because American stuff is very different. Like
It was an American recipe. They expect less. No offense, America, but your food fucking sucks.
Well, no,
Like,
but
it
it's,
really does.
it's just the ingredients are just genuinely different too. Like I think if it used like I don't know a cup of fucking maize powder or whatever the fuck they have there, half the time you look at recipes online, you're like, what the fuck is this thing? Do you know what I mean? It's some American thing that
What is, like-
doesn't every supermarket have kosher salt? It's like what? No,
I don't know what the difference between kosher salt and non-kosher salt is. Does
It's
it taste
flakier.
different?
It's
What
flakier.
what food is like truly American though? Like like
Hamburgers, I'd say.
really were they invented in America?
I would be fairly sure they were.
right.
I mean, I
Right,
would
like
say
the modern way of eating them. You mean like
Yeah,
with a patty and bun and
but
all the
making
toppings
it
and
a
stuff.
foot tall.
Yeah.
I would say that the keys to
No,
American
I don't
cuisine,
mean putting like an American like twist on it. I mean like stuff that was. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, and most of the stuff that comes to mind that I think would have come directly from America, nowhere else before that, is kind of like fast food or like some derivative of.
I would
fast
also
food, right?
suggest
like you said,
things
burgers,
like
hot
grits,
dogs.
collard greens, all that kind of like that deep South cooking.
Yeah.
I don't feel it had a history before America, other than I know a lot of that deep South cuisine came from
French, right?
Africans
Was it
and
like
coming over when they were brought over. I should say they brought a lot of their cooking style with them because
Right.
the white man isn't going to cook for them. When you're a fucking slave, you got to cook for yourself. So there's a lot of their recipes came over with them.
Right.
So you'll find a lot of that deep South cooking is heavily influenced by the stuff that the slave sort of trade basically imported against people's will.
Yeah.
And it's been adjusted and it's been Americanized.
Yeah.
Well, I think there wasn't for a long time an idea that food could cause you to be sick, because most people in the world have had struggled to eat enough for the past, couple thousand years.
it. And I mean, the thing is, like, a long time ago, stuff that we really take for granted nowadays, seasoning and all that kind of stuff, was imported from far away and expensive. It was only like the upper classes of society that had access to any of that shit. Like if you were like a manual worker, or you worked like even before factories were a thing, you were just boiling like any food you could get and eating it like that, pretty much.
Yeah,
like
I mean, even
there's
during
nothing else
World
to
War
have.
II, you had your sugar ration kind of thing. Like you were limited in the amount of kind of these, especially things like, during the war, imagine like the modern American diet, which I think is still eaten by a lot of people, is a lot of red meat and processed meat, a lot of butter, candy, sweets, fried stuff, eggs,
Cheese,
potatoes, corn,
cheese,
and cheese. Dairy stuff. Like there's a lot of that because it's lovely and it really tastes good. But if you imagine in the war, like those were the things that were the rationed the hardest, really.
Not in America though. They didn't have rationing.
Not necessarily. But it was kind of this thing that vegetables were cheap and free and easy. But now we have this very good industrial base making these things cheaply, and so they're delicious. And like, why wouldn't you eat them every day? If you weren't thinking about anything. And I think that there was this time when people didn't associate eating that eating lifestyle with any bad effects. And I think that it's still hard today to convince people to put vegetables in there because they're not very nice.
But bear in mind, we are coded to think, ooh, high fat, good. Because
it tastes good.
You're not meant to get that. Like when we're walking around,
I mean, the availability of that now is
it's rare that you get
it's too much
because you have to kill something basically,
it's
and
like,
that's not something you're going to do every day.
That's why like we've I'm sure I've talked about gallbladders in the past, but we just don't need them anymore because they're just like the point of them was what Flax is just saying. Like back a long time ago, you might have eaten meat like once a year if you were lucky enough to fucking kill something big enough that was, a high source of fat. And otherwise you were just like foraging berries and shit like that for the rest of the time. You know what I mean? And then to break that down, your stomach's not used to that level of, or that volume of fat entering its system. To help break it down, you've got a gallbladder that just like springs into action. It's like it like triggers it to go to work, sort of thing. But nowadays, like, because we consume so much fat,
like Clippy. I see you've eaten some fat today.
it's been like bypassed now. Like most of our stomachs produce enough bile now to just deal with the insane amount of fat that's entering us, sort of thing.
Speak for yourself.
Well, yeah.
Bile boy.
Bile boy. Bile boy. Bile boy, stop it! Stop it! You're creeping me up. I can't help it.
That should be Captain America's sidekick. I should.
Bile boy. Grits are very American because they're actually a Native American recipe.
Native
So
American.
I think.
Yeah, I suppose there'll be some influence from that too. But yeah, no, it's weird to think. Like, I think a lot of the food that we sort of associate with being American had definitely came after the Industrial Revolution and like processed foods and stuff like that, right? It's not like there's no like, it's not like Americans wouldn't have an equivalent of like the Cornish pasty or something like that. I don't think, you know what I mean? Or maybe they do. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I mean,
they've also got a lot of Central and South American stuff.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about the further south you go, like, I actually really like the fact that America absorbs food from all over the place. That's something that we didn't do until fairly recently.
Well, they kind of had to, though, because a lot of that continent is just before Europeans came over, there was, like native peoples that lived there or whatever, but most of that continent was colonized by Europeans. So like, I think it's probably
an immigrant population from
nature
all over
to seek out foods
it's
from
the
their
ultimate
original sort of
all the different foods being put in a big pot.
Yeah.
But you can get like Tex-Mex food, and you can get Mexican food.
Yeah, but that's all old Spanish or Portuguese or whatever food, right?
I don't know, because a lot of that stuff is cooked with stuff that didn't exist back in Spain.
Oh, what do you mean?
Like,
stuff that they might have found like on the continent, like when they arrived, sort of thing. So it could have been new dishes created by colonists or whatever.
I have a lot of respect
for
chefs, honestly, of all types, because I remember we had to do like back in the day, we had to do like a challenge of making some pancakes and stuff for people. It was like an overcooked challenge. Right. And we had to like, oh god, it was so intense. Like, people were ordering pancakes and I had to cook them up, and man, it sounds like the simplest thing in the world to do, just to make some pancakes, right? But when you're doing it to order and people are waiting on you, it's suddenly like this incredibly intense
the pressure. And maybe that's why they're so weird
too in Kitchen Nightmares and stuff, don't you? Like, even places, especially places that have like a big fucking menu. I think that's one of the things I always take away from Kitchen Nightmares is that
big menu equals
these
bad.
Restaurants have like this mega menu, and you just think it doesn't need to be like that. Like, some of the most expensive and fancy places in the world just do one thing or maybe two things,
Well, yeah, they'll have like signature dishes that like everybody will go there for, more or less, and then you'll have a couple of people that will want something different, but there's a lot of places that will just have like a very like set menu, like there's restaurants that where like you said, they just do one thing, and that's what they'll prep for. And that's, you go in there, and if that's what you want, great. And if that's not what you want, well, there's other restaurants, you know what I mean? Like, but it's like, it's courses too, right? It's like usually like,
I feel like the most successful restaurants in the world are the ones with the smallest menus.
Yes.
McDonald's has a small menu.
It does have a pretty small menu, surprisingly, doesn't it?
But they tried to expand it to include
most
some
people
stuff.
just go there for one reason, though, right? Like,
yeah, they go there for one thing. You want burger and fries.
They just want a Big Mac and some fries, yeah.
That's it.
So that it's simple. Yeah.
How is that lesson not filtered down? The odd thing is, like, even if you go to a really good Chinese restaurant or a really good Indian restaurant, the menu's still going to be pretty fucking big. But I think the reason for that is a lot of that food is just, I mean, if you think about Chinese cooking, a lot of it is cooked right then and there in a wok, right?
Well,
so
I
it's
think-
just depends what spices or whatever you put in, and the same with Indian cooking. It's not like
Yeah, well,
okay, this one's going to
Indian
require
stuff,
4 hours of
it's
prep.
just like the base is kind of the same, but it's just the seasoning, right?
Yes,
Right.
That's the point.
So you
yeah.
make one big pot of like this base dal or whatever, and then if somebody wants like the ultra spicy, you just take a bit out, spice it up. There you go, done.
Yeah,
It's like,
they give it a
done.
different name,
it's,
and that's
it's
the
a
one with
different
garlic
name,
in.
but it's actually
like
it's just the same base with like different seasoning across.
I'm actually happy with that because I assume they must have to have like that a system.
Yeah,
for
they
sure.
can't have tubs of all that curry pre-made because you wouldn't have anywhere to fucking store it. When there's there's a curry place I ordered from the other night on Just Eat. There must have been like 80 different curries.
Yeah.
But there's not that much difference between them all.
No.
The different meat, different sauce base. Is it tomatoey? Is it coconutty? Does it have a lot of onions in? Does it have peppers in? So it's like, all right, they want a curry, cool. Bam, we've got this. Bam, bam, bosh, curry made.
We should do
And
it.
You know,
I mean, there's this guy I
shouldn't.
know.
We shouldn't.
we should do what?
No, we shouldn't.
Well, here's the best way to do it, right? This guy at the
Do what?
market run a fucking restaurant.
Oh,
he
my
basically
God.
makes like a
We'd
huge
be shut
paella.
down like immediately.
He makes this.
Triforce
Welcome
meal.
to the grand opening. Oh shit, we're shut down.
No, the way to do it right is like you don't no pressure. Okay, so he makes this paella like the night before, cooks it overnight really slowly, and then just brings the fucking mega dish, right? And then he stands there and just anytime,
I've had his paella. It's very good.
Anytime someone wants one, he just scoops a bit out, puts it in a box. There you go, paella. And he
All right,
doesn't have to
here's
do
our
any
angle.
cooking at the time. He doesn't have to do any worrying.
Here's our angle. Here's our angle. There are 3 dishes because it's the Triforce restaurant. There are 3 dishes.
Right.
We each get to prepare our dish and then we sell them. So it's like, what would your dish be, Sips?
Special K with milk.
Yours, Lewis?
Well, that's a real problem. We need to talk about this. How are
That's
you going to
fucking
do that?
easy as hell. Well, I'll be like the toast of the town. How does he do it? Well,
How do you do it? Well, I'm guessing it's not pre-made. You're going to make it live for people.
Gordon will be there.
Yeah.
Is this Special K fresh? Did you make this Special
I
K?
just opened the box. Yeah.
Unbelievable. I don't want this. Disgusting.
Yeah.
It tastes like box
Let me
cereal.
leave it, Gordon.
Eat your fucking Maltesers as well, Gordon. Jesus.
Yeah.
Or else you're
What's
not going to
yours
get your
gonna be?
Rolo.
What's your dish, Lewis?
Oh, fucking hell.
What's your?
It would probably be...
It's yours like a salad, right? You'd make a salad, some sort of salad with like beetroot and like
It'd be like a mushroom,
Avocado and shit like
pepper, it'd be fajitas.
fajit.
You're going to do a vegetarian or vegan fajita.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do a
Vegeta.
slab of raw meat.
right. You have to
and that's
prepare
it.
that every time, though.
What do you
No,
mean a
I just-
slab of raw meat?
I mean, it's just to counteract your guys' vegetarian agenda. I'm going to serve a slab of raw meat, and I'll cook it however you want it right then and there, as long as it involves frying it or grilling it. That's
What can I
it.
do instead? How about I do toasties, cheese toasties, just with the veggie cheese, so it's like the tofu cheese.
Okay,
It'll
so
be great.
again,
that'll be great.
I'm offering an alternative.
But
That way we get both.
no,
groups
we
of
can
people.
work together though, like because you could put the
I
meat in the
refuse to work
toasty if
with
you
you.
Well,
wanted
if
it.
you're gonna do meat, and I should do some sort of fish then, so that we get everything right.
Yeah.
All of God's creatures on one menu. We have to make sure that we get everything. So like,
I reckon cheese toasties.
yeah,
and then
Lewis
you
will
two...
do the plants and stuff. Flax will do the.
Well, if you've got
land
if you've got
meat,
the breakfast menu,
and I'll
I
do
could do the lunch
seafood.
menu.
I'll do seafood.
And then actually the meat honestly is like a dinner. Like you go to any
It's a
fancy
dinner.
steak restaurant and it's just they just give you a fucking steak and like the sides like they're not really needed. You just go to a steak restaurant and eat a massive steak. I think we've got a balanced diet here, guys.
Yeah. Have
Honestly.
you seen Parks and Rec?
yeah,
Yeah.
So there's an episode in there where Rob Lowe's character cooks this ridiculous burger that's
Ron
all
Swanson. Yeah.
complicated, and it's all vegetarian. It's made with this, that, and the other. And Ron just buys a big pack of minced beef.
Yeah.
And just bam, puts it in a burger, grills it, puts it in a bun. Here you go. And everyone's like, this is better. And I'm thinking, of course it is, because that's what you want from a burger: is the delicious cooked beef with the fat filling, soaking into the bread.
Of
Bosh,
course.
job done. But there will be some people who don't want that. That's where you guys come in.
Yeah.
So I'll do the Ron Swanson style it's 100% meat. That'll be me, and you guys can do whatever else you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't want to do any. I don't want to. Yeah, maybe I don't want to do the fake cheese instead of.
You want to?
There's no point, is there? It's just never. It's never the same.
Peanut butter sandwiches. Can't go wrong. Peanut butter and jam sandwiches.
God, there's so much you can do. Cooking is such a vibrant option. There's so much choice. How does anyone? I guess like everyone really does a bit of it, but I'm.
No, well, that's the thing. I think nowadays a lot of people don't. I think
really though, but they must do
home
a bit.
delivery.
They must fry up some bacon
bigger than
and sausages or something. You know,
no, I doubt it. Like, I don't think that many people do. I think older people probably do, but I don't think your 20-somethings now do. I think it's just easier and cheaper for them to Deliveroo or fucking some shit straight to their door, right? Like,
it's quite expensive though. It adds up, doesn't it? Like, it's not that you know.
I don't know though. I mean, like, it's most like
expensive.
delivered food.
I was trying to explain to my youngest why it's more expensive to buy a sandwich than it is to buy all this stuff to make many sandwiches. And I think most people think, I need this now. I just need the sandwich now because I'm at work and I need a sandwich, so I'll go buy that sandwich. And I was trying to say to her, look, if you bought every day one sandwich, one bag of crisps, and a drink, let's say even if it's a meal deal and it's like £4.
Yeah.
Let's just imagine it's £4 for that, right?
Yeah.
You could buy a loaf of bread, mayonnaise, ham, lettuce, tomato, and a multi-pack of crisps for probably the same amount of money and bring water from home.
Yeah.
But I said, you're paying for the convenience, and this was like blowing her mind.
But I think again, though, as well, I think it's kind of a case of one or the other. Like, okay, if you order food in and you're in the habit of doing that, but you go out and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go buy a loaf of bread and stuff so that I can make a couple of sandwiches, but you're also ordering food in at the same time, a lot of that food will just spoil, right? Because you're not using it. Like, I feel like you have to either go fully one way or, you know, be very careful, because like even worse than not preparing food at home and just getting everything delivered in is wasting food, right?
Oh, I hate wasting food.
Like,
yeah,
you end up chucking like half a loaf of bread away because you got through half of the other half went moldy by the time you got around to it because you had like 20 takeaways in between or whatever. Yeah, it's no good, right?
I know people that order food in all the fucking time, like lunch and dinner. They're ordering.
Yeah,
in.
That's crazy. I mean, I like
they do that a lot in America.
For like some context, I don't think this is anything but just probably like maybe just the way I was raised or just the way I've always been or whatever. But like actual food delivered to my house, I think happens maybe twice a year. Like sometimes we get a pizza and that's it. Like,
wow.
Yeah, like we
I would
never
say once
order
a
food.
week.
Like
once a week.
It's just
because
crazy.
we have our food shop come on a Tuesday. So normally by Monday we've run out and we're down to the bare bones.
Yeah.
Because we ordered just what we need for the week, right? And it's like, all right, we've gone through all the stuff. We've had the freezer stuff that we had. Let's get some takeaway in. Like that's our Monday night.
We still
sort of
food
treat.
shop every day as well. Like we don't do
really.
We don't do big shops. So like we get what we need.
You should try doing online shopping. It's really good.
Nowhere delivers over here. It's not a thing.
Of course.
It's a small place, so we still have to go to the shop. But we go every day. We don't go like I know in America or you know even in the UK now. It's like you know the supermarkets that are sort of like out in the sticks that you drive to, and you do like a week's worth of shopping or whatever. You can do that here, but a lot of people don't. I don't think. Maybe I might just be speaking for myself, but we go every day. We just buy what we need, like for that day, or maybe like into the next day, like you know, like milk.
But
and shit
that's
like that.
probably really good for not wasting food.
Well, we barely waste any. It's crazy. Like,
but you're also getting the bargains that like if we get this today, it's half price, but we have to use it today.
Yeah, sometimes you get like 2-for-1 stuff or whatever. But like sometimes we don't even bother. Like again, because sometimes you get those 2-for-1 things, and if it's something that you know, like say it's like salad dressing or something like that, right. 2-for-1.
Yeah, you're never going to use that.
Yeah, I never get the second one because it's just like, fuck, we're not going to go through 2 bottles of salad dressing in like the shelf life of a bottle. You know what I mean? Like we don't use it that much sort of thing. So
yeah,
just
I can understand.
Try to not waste, you know?
There did used to be this thing called, you know, people used to do a weekly shop. that was a very classic thing that people used to do. They used to go and get a lot of stuff once a week. And over the course of the last 20 or 30 years, we've changed to it's changed, and people shop for smaller things more often, which is why most supermarkets.
I think it's the other way around, though. I think a long time ago it was very much you went every day, like because things weren't as preserved as they are nowadays as well, right?
I also don't think people
had a milk
freezers
delivery
as
every
much.
day. Yeah,
That's the other
freezers
thing.
and like ice boxes and stuff like that.
Well, we're definitely seeing the return of the weekly shop, apparently, according to supermarkets, because in this event, people are going out less and they're doing bigger shops less frequently.
Yeah.
And stocking up.
I
with
still shop
more
every day.
sort of
Like
supplies.
I guess.
So you know what's weird? I was walking the dog this morning. This is a 2-part story because it's weird in both ways. I'm walking the dog this morning. She loves it. We go to the park. As we're walking there, I walk past one of the houses near me, and they've got their recycling boxes out, and they had about 12 Costco boxes that had been crushed, ready for recycling.
Right.
And there must have been 120 bottles, empty plastic bottles of water.
Right.
Right.
What the fuck were they doing? Did they think, oh, you can't drink the water anymore, and they were just living off bottled water?
Some people don't drink tap water or don't trust. Like,
It's fine.
I just got a filter. I got one of those Brita filters.
But I've lived here for a long time, and I know that the people that have done this have lived there for a long time because there's not much movement at that end of the road. Like, people don't move out very often. They're the people that have been there since we moved in. What the fuck happened? Why have they got all these bottles of water?
I think
was trying to wrap
it's
my head
like
around it.
a sort of a thing that some people think it tastes better.
Yeah.
Some people think it's somehow better for you. Some people I think it's got this image from marketing that somehow it's healthy or better for you. But I watched the thing about how it's made and stuff, and saw a thing that said that Fiji water had more like feces in it per.
It
per
was
gram.
What
Fiji
kind of water
water.
is that?
That was the bottle. It was
Fiji.
Fiji water.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That was the
Fiji
one.
I'm
water.
gonna go get me some of that.
But what I don't understand is why they've suddenly gone for hundreds of bottles of water. Because I
Well,
would have seen
because
this
of the
previously.
marketing, it feels like it's this thing that's actually somehow weird or different or better as consumers. Some people like
Maybe.
it, and
Yeah.
I guess it's like drinking. It's better than drinking fucking Coke.
The one
I
that,
guess.
yeah, the one that's the one that
Yeah,
gets me.
yeah.
Like, I remember when I was younger, where I grew up in Ottawa, in the suburbs, they introduced like their recycling scheme. This is early on, like this is back like in the late 80s. They introduced like a citywide recycling scheme, and so you had like a blue box that you put out onto your driveway with, newspapers, cardboard, all the typical stuff that you recycle. So like when they'd come around to pick up your garbage, there's another truck coming close behind that was like a recycling truck. It'd take your blue box, put all the stuff in, take it to this place and sort it out or whatever. But fuck me, man. Like, you'd walk down the street on, like garbage day or whatever, and everybody's garbage would be out. Some of these blue boxes were just like overflowing with like empty cans of like Pepsi and Coke and stuff. You just think,
Oh.
Jesus Christ, like hundreds of cans in one box. Like, you couldn't
so bad.
possibly fit another can in there. Just like, you just imagine like these fucking like blobs, like from Wall-E or something, sitting in their fucking house like Jabba the Hutt, just like knocking back Cokes. Like, fuck's sake.
So bad.
What's for dinner, Ma? More mints?
More Coke. We ran out of Coke. Like, fuck's sake. Oh man.
I drink fizzy. I drink the sparkling water as instead of like soda. Instead of,
just carbonated water.
Yeah, I can understand that as a sort of thing, and
Yeah.
and it's convenient too to have a bottle of it.
So here's the other thing that happened. Let my dog off the lead. We've been letting her off the lead for months now. She's cool with it. She's playing around in the grass and everything. Just me
Wow,
and her.
already? How old's your dog?
She's like 8 months old.
Fuck. They grow up so fast, eh?
Yeah, I know they really do. And so she's running around enjoying herself, sniffing stuff. She does a wee, she's hanging out, and then she looks at me, and she just fucking takes off,
Oh yeah.
and she just runs.
Yeah,
and I'm
testing.
like, she's never done this before,
Testing
and I
you.
was like, what the fuck is she doing? No, she wasn't testing me. She ran home. She just ran all the way home. She just pieced out of the walk. Like I saw her running, and there's like a little ridge, and once they go down the ridge, they're like on the path around the park, and I see her go down the ridge, and I'm calling her, and suddenly I see her running over the bridge, and I was like, what the fuck is she doing? I was like, oh my god.
Man.
Like she's done this before. Sometimes she just goes, fuck it. She just goes home. I
I
got home, I knew where she was, and there she was scratching the door, and I was like, what the fuck are
you
you
get
doing?
a dog flap for her so she can let
Fuck
herself
that.
in.
No way. Jesus.
She could just walk herself.
She'd be crazy.
She can just walk herself. Yeah, you don't even
I hate that. I hate that.
get a flap. Hey, I got a funny dog story. I've been I reinstalled Fallout 4. I played Fallout 76. I liked it enough. It's still, I don't think it's amazing, but it's a nice Fallout experience. Like the world is really nice, really detailed and stuff. I like the setting and stuff.
It obviously satisfied you because you ended up installing Fallout 4.
Yes.
So I guess it was.
I reinstalled Fallout 4 with a whole bunch of mods, and I'm having a fun time. Okay. So the other day, I'm out in the wasteland, and I've got the dog meat following me around or whatever. And then all of a sudden, it's like dog meat has found something. So I was like, oh shit, what is it? Go check him. Found a fat man. Just randomly. Just found a gigantic mini nuke launcher.
Jesus.
Cool. Thanks. You just found one.
Good boy.
Well done. Yeah. What a game. What a game.
Just a nuclear bazooka.
I've been really back into Fallout recently. I've forgotten how much I love the setting and the lore and most of the games. Like even funnily enough, 76 was what got me back into it, which has such a bad rap. And yeah, there's definitely parts of it that aren't great, but I think overall it's actually
Did you play
pretty
it
good.
solo? Because it's called. They've relaunched it with sort of
yeah.
characters.
So with the new
right?
with the Wastelander characters and humans being in it again, it definitely makes it feel more of like a Fallout game. And I think like even if you just played through the some of the missions are really good. Some of the holotapes, the voice acting is phenomenal. Like some of them are really good. Some of them are really funny. It's got all the stuff that you'd expect from a Fallout game, all the stuff that you really like from it. You can scrap all the junk. I like doing that. You can build a settlement that you can then transport around with you, which is kind of cool. But there's limits to all this stuff. So sometimes it feels limiting and not so great. But the actual like world is huge. Like it's much more detailed than 4, which because I played 4 a lot, but on and off throughout the years or whatever. And now that I'm playing it after 76, I'm finding like you go into a building, you're like, fuck, there's just nothing in here. Like the buildings are so sparse compared to 76. Like I know it's a big meme to say that's like 4 times the detail, but it actually is much more detailed. Like there's a lot more stuff. It must have taken them forever to build like all the locations and stuff. And it's just.
Do you think the negative stuff about it was more about the launch and all the stuff around it?
And now
it was really buggy.
It was really janky. It still is a bit janky, the combat and stuff. Like I don't know what it is more so than Fallout 4. I remember being somewhat janky, but actually going back to it now after 76, it's like it's amazing. Like it's so smooth. The gameplay, like the combat and stuff. In 76, it's like. It's really weird. The guns are slow and sluggish, but the enemies move very quickly sometimes, almost like it's like a frame rate issue or something. Like a feral ghoul will jump and then it's like it skips like 25 frames and then he's like right next to you and you're like, what? Like where, and the guns are so slow and unresponsive and the hit register isn't great. So it's like sometimes that's frustrating.
Still online.
Yes.
Is that the
yeah.
point
I think that's why.
Because it's like a multiplayer. You have to connect to servers.
That's
and things
it.
to play it.
Yeah.
Even if you're on your own.
So
it's still like
so
this idea
some
of
of that
online.
Kind of it doesn't fully ruin the experience, but it sort of like it's a negative.
I feel like the
sure,
fact
right?
that you're just playing Fallout 4 says it's not very good, though. It's like you were disappointed by it.
No, it's not that. It's just again, you feel limited in what you can do because it is meant to be like a multiplayer game, right? And it has all of the hallmarks of a multiplayer game with like its end game that's grindy. All you're doing is finding like that 1% better weapon than the one you currently have. You know what I mean? Like it's got all of that stuff in it, which is, I think when you get to that point, you're pretty much done with the game. Or I would be for sure. I don't think I'd play beyond that. I'd only play for content, like if every once in a while they're like, oh, they found a new vault in Appalachia. Like, okay, cool. Like more content. I'll go and like, explore that. That sounds great. But like, I wouldn't be in it just for like min-maxing the end game. You know what I mean? And like most online multiplayer games become that, right? That's just like a mechanic for like those types of games.
I mean, it's any edge you can get over other people, right? That's the big motivator. I mean, and definitely in Tarkov, it feels like that. Like getting a slightly better armor means you're going to win that duel.
Yeah, of course.
As opposed,
But honestly, though, I honestly think that 76 isn't a terrible game. Like there is a Fallout game in there that's actually quite enjoyable if you play it by yourself and just play it for what it is. You know, like some of the stories, do the things that you want to do. And then you know what I mean. But yeah, Fallout 4 wins because you can mod it. Like I'm not playing vanilla Fallout 4. I've added.
No,
I
saw you building
mods.
some stuff, and I saw you hacking away at like a glowing ghoul for like 20 minutes with a machete yesterday.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So like,
it's good fun.
I mean, Fallout 4 has had its life extended indefinitely because like Skyrim as well with mods and stuff.
With the mods, yeah.
But Fallout 76 will never get that because it's online, right? So we'll never be able to mod it.
I played 2 tactics games this week. I played XCOM Chimera Squad.
What do you think?
It was £8. I got through it. I've really enjoyed it. I'm going to finish off streaming it tonight and over the weekend, and I think it's good, really good. It's got its problems, but actually I think for £8 it's amazing.
It feels like a stripped down I think it's definitely like a precursor to the next XCOM, right?
I love the breach mechanic.
I think it was a bit of a test bed. Plus, I think they learned a lot in the XCOM 2 daily missions. So there was this thing on XCOM 2 where there was a different mission every day that no one played, but they tried a lot of these things out where you got to play as aliens and stuff. And so I think they took all the things that people found fun from that, and made it into a game.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a huge weight of expectation, not just from me because I'm really looking forward to XCOM 3 because I played so much XCOM 2. I know you guys did. We've all played a lot of XCOM games.
Yeah.
There's such huge titles that I think they're thinking, we can't just dump out the same thing again after all this time. We've got to add new stuff, new ideas, and a new enemy and all the rest of it.
And this is obviously very clear in Gears of War, Gears Tactics, which came out. So Gears of War.
I've been watching a couple of people play that. It looks really good.
It's £50.
Oh,
Jesus!
The Steam reviews are very mixed. I played it on the step up from normal difficulty, and I got my ass kicked.
Yeah,
it was really quite hard to begin with, and I'm into it. There's seems like a lot of customization. It's like another tactics game. There's definitely going to be problems with it and overpowered things. I don't think it's the most balanced thing in the world, but it's fun.
So
what
is it? It's Gears of War though, right? Like
it's in the Gears of War universe,
right, okay.
Which is kind of this not a great something I've never really been aware
not a very
of,
interesting universe. Really.
I've never even played the Gears of War games. Like I'm typically not a console game player. So
it's like alternate reality Earth where one day bugs invade. It's called Emergence Day. They just sort of come up out of the ground.
Right.
And the only way to deal with them all is to nuke all of the cities on Earth with this thing called the Hammer of Dawn.
With this thing called your daughter's hearing aid. That's how you deal with
what?
It. Do you ever see that movie? We saw it. We saw it. Lewis, remember that one? The Quiet
Place.
Yeah.
You're right. Yes, Jesus
the ultimate
Christ.
weapon.
Yeah, it's just that high pitched ringing. It just makes their brains explode.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
So it was great.
Fine.
Fuck, I loved it.
Yeah. But anyway, I've played it. I think it's actually okay. I think you can get it for £1 on Xbox Game Pass, actually. So that would be my tip rather than spending £50 on Steam if you want to give it a go.
Oh, right, I got that. Yeah, I got Outer Worlds on that Game Pass.
It's like £1 a month on Xbox, whatever, Arcade, Game Pass, some whatever fuck.
Yeah, I might try that out. It looks good. It looks nice. The graphics and everything, the gameplay look really, really interesting. Like, I like it looks really satisfying when you kill something. Like, so... I don't know.
I think it is. It's quite interesting, quite different gameplay. And if you're feeling like a bit of XCOM-y stuff after you've had finished Chimera Squad, because it's kind of quite short, Chimera Squad.
Yeah,
it's like 20 hours or something.
But I mean, £8, Jesus.
Yeah, you can't go wrong, really. It is actually. I really like the breaching stuff. I kind of in a way like the more compact maps as well. I like.
Yeah,
sort of just breaching into
somewhere.
somewhere.
Half the map you never even fucking used anyway.
Yeah,
like that was the stupid
It felt sometimes in XCOM 2, XCOM 2 is amazing. Like you can't fault
It
it,
is
for a lot of
amazing,
things, but some of the maps are so big, and it just felt a little bit tedious sometimes, having to turn after turn, move your guys up a lot and stuff.
Yeah, because where's the fun in that? Like just schlepping your guys.
Yeah, I think this sort of like more compact with the breaching and stuff is.
It's cool.
You feel like you're constantly fighting, which is nice. Actually, there's not tons of downtime in between.
I also really like the taking your turn and then they take their turn and then a couple of your guys.
Nice.
And I love that.
That's really good.
And then there are abilities that like bump people up the order because you're like, I've got to lick this guy this turn with licky kicky guy. And
it is.
I like
there's just some really nice new mechanics. Like it'd be really, really neat if they add that to like the next XCOM game. But with the next XCOM game, I hope there's like a lot more customization. Like in between,
that was the one thing that was missing,
like the base building stuff. I really like. I hope they never get rid of that. Like, just that I like the whole sort of like you get back from a mission and you have a bit of downtime. You get a couple of things built or in motion to like fit into like your overall strategy or whatever. You customize some of your guys. Like I used to like to do this thing where like if you're a rookie, you weren't allowed to have a cigarette hanging out of your mouth. But then when you got promoted, all of a sudden you were on cigarette level. Team. But then when you were like ultra promoted, you got promoted to like cigar squad and stuff. Like just little things like that, you know, like I like that kind of stuff. So I hope there's like a lot of that too, but we'll see. But I think for £8 you can't go wrong. Honestly, it's
exactly
great.
Yeah. Great value.
Yeah, there's a good hot tips. Well, thanks, guys. That was Triforce this week. Hope you guys are all safe out there.
Yeah.
Looking after yourselves, looking after each other, eating lots of Maltesers and stuff.
Yeah.
And fizzy water.
And one individual Rolo for your daily allowance.
Yeah.
As well.
Homework for this recording. Go ahead and see if you can make some pasta.
Yeah. Try it out.
Do it. It's not that difficult.
Try it out.
But you do need a machine to cut it. That's the thing.
Right.
But it's just a crank thing. You just lock it onto the side
Get
of a
some
table
scissors.
and you run it through and you just crank it and it comes out beautiful.
Everybody's
pasta.
got scissors.
I'll just do
fine.
scissors.
And then you need your pasta drying rack.
Yeah.
None of these things are that expensive.
Okay.
Have fun, pasta fiends.
Have fun, pasta friends, and we'll see you next week for another one.
All right.
Adieu.
Bye.
Love you lots. Bye.
Adieu.